Hey there, welcome back. Now in this lecture, we'll be talking about class-based view. So if I jump onto the documentation part, just click here on API guide, click on views, and we have our class-based view. So what we are going to do is, we are going to utilize this API view class. Now if you want more information in the form of code, you can just right click here, click on open in new tab, and you will get complete information through their GitHub repository. That means we will have access to this view.py file that is actually related to our REST framework. So maybe I need more information about this API view. All I have to do is just search here, and this is the class. They have several methods like asView, then they have allowed method. There are several other methods that we can utilize. We will be talking about this permission as well as throttling and few other later in this course. Currently you just need to understand how to utilize this API view class. Once we have bit information about this, later we will be talking about different other classes like mixins, generic classes, then there are other classes that are really important. So right now just understand how to utilize this. So if I jump here, I'm not going to utilize these function based view now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment them. Later you can just scroll down at the bottom and access them. I'm commenting them here. So the first thing I need to do is I need to import this class. So if I jump back here and I need to import my API view class. I'm not going to utilize this API view class for now. I'm going to use this API class based view. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a movie list. And here I'm going to utilize class, and then I'm going to call this class as movie list and then AV, that is our API view. The thing is there will be many more classes, so there will be different other classes and I don't want to mix them. That's it, that's the class name, but we have to inherit our class. So let me use API view class. And then inside this, what we have to do is instead of using these if condition like we did previously, instead of using these if condition, what I can do is I can directly define the method. So I can define get method. That means I'm going to utilize this get method to do all this task. If I want to define this post, all I have to do is define a post method here and do all these tasks that we did earlier in our function based view. So if you jump onto the documentation right now, here you can see they have defined some condition. Wait a second, we will be talking about them as we move forward with the course about permission, authentication. But the main thing you need to say is this get method. And if I just scroll up a bit or scroll down a bit, you will see they have their post method as well. So if I jump again, and inside this all I have to do is define everything that I require. So the first thing I need to use is my request, because all the data will be in this request. And now I'm going to utilize again, I'm going to store everything into movies, and I need to select this movie.objects.all because I'm going to get everything. This is movie list right now. Now once I have access to this query set, all I have to do is utilize my serializer and then return my response. So I can just copy this, uncomment this line, that's it. So that is going to be my get method. So instead of using this if condition, I have defined a get method. Now same I need to do for post method. All I have to use is def and create a post request that is going to have self as well as request. Now what I'm going to do is just collect all the data and I'm going to utilize this serializer. Let me uncomment everything. So if you need to do comment as well as uncomment all together, just select all the lines that you need to comment or uncomment, then control and slash. That's done. So I'm going to get all the data in the form of request. I'm going to call my serializer and pass this data. Once we have everything, I'm going to check if it's valid. If yes, I'm going to call the save method. And everything goes fine, I'm going to return the data. That's it. That's how we are going to write API view. So one thing you need to take care is we are not going to utilize any type of decorator with our class based view. Also, we don't need to define these type of condition. Why? Now if we have defined this get method, that means our class-based view supports this get method. If we have this post method, that means our class-based view supports this post method. At this point of time, we don't have anything like delete or put. So we need to create another class for our specific item. So this is our detail class in which we talk about ID1, ID2. That means we get detail of a particular element. Let me do that here. So this is our class-based view 1 in which we are going to get complete list. So here let me define our second class-based view. I'm going to get movie detail. And I'm going to call it as AV because API view, and here I have inherited API view. Now inside this again I need to define get method, I need to define put as well as delete, because if we have selected a particular element, either we can edit it, either we can delete it, or we can just get the information about it. So first let me define the get method, and I need to perform the same steps that we did earlier. If I scroll down a bit, I need to do something similar. Copy and paste it here. I need to uncomment them. That's done. Now I need to do same task with put as well as delete. Copy paste them here and remember to uncomment everything. So we have get, we have put, and we need to follow something similar for our delete request. Make sure you take care about these indentation, otherwise this is going to mess a lot of things. While copy pasting, we usually get indentation error because of these silly mistake. So I'm going to define our delete method, inside which I need to paste them, select all, and then uncomment. Now this looks fine, our indentation look fine, and that's it. I think this should work fine. So we have updated our view, we are utilizing the same serializer, and I need to update my URLs. Why? Because if you look here, we are using these old URLs. That means we are pointing towards our view where we are pointing towards our function based view. Now the first thing I need to do is I need to comment this line so you can utilize later, but I need to import my new views. That means my class based view. I need to call movie list AV, yeah. And the second one is movie detail AV. Now instead of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize my movie list AV and then dot, I need to use it as underscore view. Make sure you keep this in mind, otherwise you are going to get error. This is class based view, so we need to utilize it with dot as view, and I need to do something similar. Now if you remember this, we got this method inside our views.py also. So if I open this one again, and here if I search my API view class, and if you get here, this is our class, and they have defined this as view method. This looks fine. We did everything that is required, updated our views as well as URLs. Now if I just zoom out a bit, yeah, I hope you got the idea what we are trying to do. That's it. Now let me jump back to our browser API. This is our admin section. Currently we only have one element. The first thing I need to do is check out my CMD. Let me refresh this one. So let me break this one, run my server again. I did some mistake. Let me jump back here, go to my URLs. Okay, I need to utilize the correct name. That's it. This looks fine. Our server is running. Now let me jump back here, and this is working fine. Let me try to access my movie list. Let me recheck my URL. Actually, it's going to be movie then list. Yep, we are able to access this one. Right now, currently we only have one element. That's why we are getting this. And you can also check we have get as well as post method. Let me add few other elements as well. So our get request is working fine. Let us test our post request, which is this one. We don't need to pass our ID because it will be auto generated. We just need to pass name, description as well as active. Let's give our name as PYJS, the big fight. Don't worry, there is no movie like this. I'm just making up these names. And let me take description as Python JavaScript. Active is going to be true. Let's try false here and then send a post request. You can see we have created an object and this is our return object. That means the return that we have sent here. This looks fine, so that means this is working. Our movie list is working perfectly. And I hope you got the idea about this APIView class. Now the second thing we need to do is we need to talk about this movie detail. So currently we have two objects, which is ID1 as well as ID9. Let me try to access 9. So instead of this list, let me use 9 here. And I got unexpected keyword argument, which is PK, and we did some mistake. The quick mistake we did is we forgot to pass PK to all the methods. Once that is done, that means we have access to our primary key. Jump here, try to access this page, and this is working fine. If I try to access 1, this is working fine. I hope you got the idea. Now if I try to update this one, let me copy this here. And we don't need to update this ID. Now instead of this, I need to add updated description as updated, as well as let me convert this false into true. If I send a put request, this is updated. If I try to access the complete list again, you can see now we have true as well as this is updated. So that's how this is going to work. And if I try to access any element again, which is 9, you can see currently we have 3 methods allowed, which is get, put as well as delete. And I can try to access this delete and test this one. So this is deleted. Now we don't have any content over index position 9. And if I try to access 1, you can see it's working. I can also go to list again. And here everything looks fine. So that's it. I hope you got the idea about APIView class. Now there are other classes that are related to APIView class, or I can say modified APIView class, in which we have several other functionality. So if I jump onto this documentation, I hope you have idea about class-based view as well as function-based view. But if I jump here, you will see about information regarding generic view. So what we are going to do is later on, we are going to utilize this generic class and we are going to have this list create API view. Then there are several other API views. So if you see, we have retrieve API view, destroy API view, create API view. We'll be talking about them later. But at this point of time, I hope you got the idea about both the views. So that means using this particular serializer, this serializer, that means this particular serializer, you have understanding to use both of them, class-based as well as function-based. The next thing you need to cover is model serializer. So you have understanding about everything. If I jump here, I strongly recommend to go to this serializer and you will have serializers as well as model serializer. This will give you a basic idea about everything. Don't worry, we are going to cover them in future. From the next lecture, let us also improve our model. Till now we currently have only this one model class which only have these 3 fields. Let us try to expand our model, talk about different other fields, create different model, maybe use some foreign key to connect them and expand our database. So that will be our next motive. I hope this lecture was helpful. Thank you for following and I see you guys in the next one.